Welcome back to our Day 1 recap of E3 2013.
Part 2 of Day 1. This is Jason.
I'm Jeff.
And you're listening to Rage Select.
Yes, and we have but a few more games to talk about.
Just a handful. This should be relatively short.
So I had one appointment today, and that was to go up to Deep Silver and see Saints Row 4.
Your favorite game of the day.
Very well could be. I mean, I love the Saints Row series because they have fully embraced the idea of go fuck yourself. We'll just do whatever we want to. I mean, shit. I'll get to more of that, but okay. So Saints Row 4, I'll just get this out of the way.
Yeah.
First and foremost. Saints Row 4 is not the prettiest game I've ever seen.
Okay.
It very much looks like a current generation game that was kind of slapped together. I mean, it was actually spun out of DLC for Saints Row 3. It was decided to spin it into an entire game.
Okay.
For those of you who have not been keeping track, the conceit of Saints Row 4, Saints Row 3, the conceit was that the Saints were international stars because of their fame of their gang had reached a level where they were celebrities, essentially. And they got thrown into Steelport. They had to kind of regain their celebrity. Saints Row 3 had some awesome shit like Burt Reynolds is the mayor of Steelport. There's a giant flying aircraft carrier, Horde mode, W-H-O-R-E-D.
Yeah, we played that.
Yes.
That was something. That was a thing that happened.
So they set us down for Saints Row 4, and I'm just gonna describe kind of the very beginning of this because it's hilarious. I'm gonna say right now though that I'm gonna be telling some spoilers for Saints Row 4. If you care, you should tune out. You should skip forward like 3 or 4 minutes. To when I just start talking about the gameplay. But, okay, so in Saints Row 4, the leader of the Third Street Saints, or whatever they're called, is the President of the United States of America.
Yes, okay. So we're adhering to realism.
Yes. And at the very beginning, you start out in the White House, and oh God, I can't remember the name of your compatriot from the last game. One of your guys is now like your press secretary, and they're talking about how your approval rating has dropped 20 points. And he's like, well, that's not so bad. It's like, it was only at 20 points. And he's like, well, as a press secretary, that sounds like your motherfucking problem. And when they tell what he did to drop his approval rating, apparently the leader of the Saints, who is customizable by the player, you can make male or female, fat, thin, whatever, is like, he went on TV and said they should change the Pledge of Allegiance to One Nation Under Me. And that's why his thing went down. So you start out the game and you're like walking to a press briefing, and at one point this guy stops you, and it's totally Keith David. And I mean totally Keith David.
Yeah.
Like after you get to talking to him, he says, "Thanks, Keith." And I asked the developer, like, so is this like Burt Reynolds? Like that is actually Keith David? He's like, yes, that is. It's not a character. It's like the Saints were like, you know who we need in the White House? Keith David.
Yeah, why not?
But he comes up to you.
The Franks. How did you get the beans above the Franks?
He comes up to you and he says, we've got a scientific breakthrough, but we can only make one. Would you like to get rid of cancer forever? And he holds up one piece of paper that at the top just says, fuck cancer. And he holds up a second piece of paper that he says, or we can eliminate global hunger. And at the top of the paper, it says, let them eat cake. So I picked the fuck cancer one, and he says, the president, he says, well, cancer had a good run. And so then you walk down and this lobbyist ambushes you, and he says, I'm totally going to filibuster the shit out of blah, 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 blah. And your choices are, the high road where you punch this dick, or the low road where you there was some rearrangement of the words, and I took the low road, and he basically just punches the dude in the dick and then keeps walking to the press conference.
Oh, so Allison helped design this game.
Yes. You go to this press conference, aliens attack and blow the top off the White House.
Of course, yeah.
You saw
that coming.
You run through the halls, and you go. Well, first you go to the Oval Office, where you open up a bust of Johnny Gat's head, who's a character from Saints Row. You hit a button, and all these things turn around to reveal a bunch of guns, and you pick guns up, and you start blowing up aliens. And then you go outside of the White House, and you see this giant mothership, and he's like, oh, hell no. And he's like, activate this security system. And this giant red, white, and blue, like, quintuple howitzer comes out of the ground with, like, eagles and stars and stripes all over it. And you get in it, and you start shooting people. And as you're shooting it, the president, he's, like, flipping off the alien ships and, like, going, like, woo, like, holding up his hands and stuff. So that ends with a fight with the aliens, a series of QuickTime events, and then they kind of dumped us just into open world. Saints Row 4, like after Saints Row the Third, it was hard to imagine what they were going to do at Saints Row 4 to make the game even more fun than it was. Here's the weapon loadout that they had. They had dual like revolver pistols that were super powerful. They had a super soaker that shot laser blasts. They had a katana that was a lightsaber. They had a black hole gun that when you shot it, like everything went into the black hole and exploded.
It's like a perverse Jack and Daxter or Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah. And then, as you all know, because you've watched the trailers, I got a chance to shoot the dubstep gun, which I don't know if you've seen the dubstep gun in any of the trailers.
I haven't.
You point it at like cars and people, and you shoot it, and it just goes, and everybody starts dancing until they die.
Jeff was just beatboxing dubstep, by the way.
I was. It's crazy. It's crazy the things that happen at E3. But everybody starts dancing. All the cars start doing like that hydro thing, dancing along to the dubstep. So you've got all of that. But then the developers were very keen on telling us before we started, make sure you don't ignore the superpowers that your character has. If you hold down the left bumper and you just go forward, you run like the Flash, and like cars that hit you just bounce off of you and people bounce off of you and stuff.
Sometimes I think I can do that. It never works out.
Yeah, you just run into a car and then kind of Wile E. Coyote
Usually
that
after
shit.
a lot of rum.
Yeah. You can hold down the A button and you can jump like Superman, leap over a single building, and then you can like prototype glide through the air. You can do a ground pound on people, and then you have a series of 4 superpowers. One was a shockwave blast that knocks everybody out around you. One was you basically catch yourself on fire, and then anybody that you touch catches on fire, and any guns that you shoot are now shooting fire bullets, so they set things on fire. One was a freeze, that you freeze people, and you can walk up and just punch them, and they totally just shatter. And then one of them was one of my personal favorites from video games, which is a telekinesis gun, where you could pick up anything, like cars, dumpsters, people, whatever, and just chunk that shit at stuff. In fact, there was a submission that was a Professor Genki challenge where you had to pick people up at, like you had these rings in the air, and one of them was for people, one of them was for cars, and one of them was for these weird bobbleheads. And so you had to pick them up and then throw them through, all the while crazy dudes in furry suits were trying to kill you by shooting you with machine guns. Saints Row 4, hella super stupid dumbass fun. I can't wait to play that game. It's a little rough around the edges as far as the gameplay engine and the graphics and all that stuff go. I could give less of a shit because they're just like, let's empower you to do stupid. I mean, at one point the cops showed up, but it wasn't cops. It was the aliens driving Tron cars.
Yeah.
That then I jacked one of the Tron cars, and
This sounds like a fever dream.
it's awesome. I cannot wait to play it. Just great. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I even asked them, like, is Keith David the only celebrity in the game? And the guy was like, no. And I was like, who else do you have? And he's like, yeah, we can't talk about that.
I think you and I need to be put into the game. It only makes sense.
Maybe
it's
so.
a perfect fit.
Maybe so. There was even a part during the Professor Genki thing where they talked about a secret warrior from years past that was like the grand champion of the Professor Genki challenge. And like there have been rumors that he's been seen again in the town. So I don't know. It seems like they've got a lot of interesting things going on. There's a whole like upgrade branching tree for the superpowers to make them into different more power.
Oh hell.
Well, no, but like the thing is that the superpowers as I saw them were already ridiculously overpowered. And if you could make them even more powerful, I shudder to think. Like we were getting into Crackdown territories with
Yeah,
the
I was about to say,
superpowers.
it sounds like you're taking these horrible assholes and then turning them into gods.
Yes. Which, what could be better? Honestly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, from there, I also got a chance to play that DuckTales HD game.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't get a chance to play it.
It seemed all right. I had some issues with the voice of Uncle Scrooge. It sounded a little weird. I had the fact that he stops the game constantly to talk to Launchpad and he never moves his lips. I know it's kind of a weird thing, but like, this is the sort of game where you could spend a little bit extra time. Like, there's a lot of time that's been invested in the animation of this game. You can spend a little extra time making the dude's lips move, even if it's just up and down.
He just stops to talk to Launchpad. So have you been to the new Quiznos down the street?
Well, no, he's like I played this Amazon level, and I don't. Guys, if this was in the original DuckTales, just let me know, and I'd cop to the fact that I don't remember OG DuckTales really at all. So you're going through the Amazon, you're picking up these coins, and every time you pick up these objective coins, Scrooge stops to talk about what he found on this coin, and then Launchpad chimes in over the radio to make some quip. And it's like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I didn't find the skip button. I know that I tried as hard as I could to go on top of the level like you used to be able to up where the score was. Mm-hmm. They don't have that black bar from the NES up on top where the score was, so I wasn't ever able to get up on top of the level. But other than that, it's very similar to the way I remember DuckTales in that you bounce on stuff and you hit stuff with your cane. I think that just like Shadows and Mystara, the DuckTales for me might be a game that may be better left in the past.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, well, I guess I'll still play
sell a lot just on nostalgia alone.
I just don't know that there was, I think that when I was like 11 or 12 and that game came out, I remember being awesome. I just don't know if it's one of those things that was awesome because I was 11 or 12, whether it really still stands up today.
And now I want to go back and watch DuckTales.
There you have a booth where you could totally karaoke the DuckTales song.
I'm on it. I'm gonna do it.
I don't know if they give you an MP3 or whatever, but you should check it out tomorrow.
I'm gonna do it.
There was no line.
It's my primary goal.
Of course, I did see it was like a college prank. I did see like 6 people shoved into that booth. It was like the size of a phone booth. There was all these people in there just like all together singing the song at the same time. And I was like,
no, it's
you guys
are
are
gonna be me.
You guys are weird.
Me and a bunch of booth babes.
Are you gonna bring your sparkly vest tomorrow? Your rhinestone vest?
Yeah, my rhinestone vest, my cod piece.
Yep.
Yeah, my rock star boots. The whole.
You're gonna Freddie Mercury the shit out of the DuckTales song.
Yeah, I'm gonna have fireworks. I'm gonna bring like a backup band. Everybody, I'm probably gonna get kicked out.
Okay.
I'm gonna Gigi Allen it.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna poop in the DuckTales booth.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I'll have to sign a waiver that I'll never bring you back to E3 ever again.
That's pretty much a certainty.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go back to one of the things that you saw. We only got a few things left here.
What do I have left? Oh, yeah. This is one. I mean, you guys aren't going to be interested in this, and if you are interested in this, why are you listening to this show? Disney rips off somebody else once again. Mm-hmm. It was Disney Infinity, and it's basically Skylanders, where you get these toys. And the toys have little bases, and you put it on the Disney Infinity base pad. Uh-huh. And these little coins, basically, you put them on the pad, and it
like Pogs,
kind of like Pogs. Yeah,
all right,
sort of. But yeah, each of it's like the stand that these toys come on, and it's like if you have a Sully, from Monsters Inc., you take his little piece and you put it on the pad. And that unlocks the Sully game, and you can sit there and modify the world that they're playing in. Like I was watching the developer play with Syndrome from The Incredibles. Yeah, he was doing that, and then he took this other little game piece to just alter the sky from the game. And it was Sugar Rush from Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh, okay.
And so he was, and they've got like Pirates of the Caribbean on there, and the Lone Ranger. I saw that character.
What was the actual gameplay? Was it just like a third person?
It was. I don't. Yeah, it was Skylanders.
Okay.
It was totally Skylanders.
Okay.
I mean, just part and parcel. It was a shameless ripoff. You got to think that Activision wanted to come over there and just go, you fucking kidding me? Really?
Activision's big, but Disney's a 400-pound gorilla. They may not know what they're, because when you described this to me, all I could think about was that in 2011 they had slathered all over a bunch of places Disney Universe, which seemed to me like a ripoff of
Little Big Planet.
Little Big Planet. And it's like, well, Disney doesn't seem to have the best handle in the world on what exactly to do with the whole video game problem. Yeah. So the fact that they're just going in and kind of ripping off a more successful franchise and doing enough work with it to make it something slightly different.
Well, this, with the rabid Disney fan base that there is and the collectability of this, this could be a huge moneymaker. I mean, kids could go totally nuts over this if the gameplay is good.
So the figures that you put down are Skylanders. They're 3-dimensional figures. They're not just pucks.
No, they're 3-dimensional figures, but you put that that base, and you could take those bases that they're standing on, and that's really where all the data is, And there were some of those that people weren't standing on, little
so you
alterations.
Can customize a little bit through different bases.
Yeah, and it's really just a big mishmash of a bunch of Disney properties. There was no Song of the South, though, which was disappointing.
There's never Song of the South.
There's never Song of the South. I didn't see Song of the South at all. I wanted to really see something where Lightning McQueen gets stuck on a slave plantation.
Oh God!
That's what I wanted to make happen, but. You know what? I'm going to ask him about that tomorrow.
Oh, yeah?
Do that.
You go over there, have an interview with him, put him on camera?
I'm going to do it.
So when are you guys releasing Song of the South for this?
Yes. Where's the Song of the South expansion?
Okay. When are you guys going to put out a Blu-ray of Song of the South? Tell me something about Song of the South. I'm not leaving until you talk about Song of the South. Say the word Song of the South. Quit pretending it didn't exist.
Say it. Just say it.
Okay. Well, let's see here. The next thing on the list is and this is a weird one because I kept coming by the EA booth to see you in line for Titanfall, and at one point during the day I went and got you a soda because I was like, you've been waiting here for a long time, and I think right around the time I got back, you had actually gotten in to see it and you had wandered off somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I saw something that I didn't see at the EA press conference, which was Command & Conquer Generals. Or it's just called Command & Conquer now, but from Generals 2, they were announced a couple of years ago, they have a new Command & Conquer. So I wandered upstairs to this Command & Conquer thing, and I said, hey, can I come in and see this? And they were like, yeah, come back at 5. You can totally come in here and play this. So I did, because I don't know if you know this, Jason, but I'm a huge fan of anything that is not the original Command & Conquer universe. Okay. So Red Alert and Generals, I love them. I love them.
I mean, most old people like Command & Conquer.
Yeah.
That's an old people franchise. It's like Command & Conquer is like the Matlock of video games. Yeah. Wing Commander is Bingo.
Oh, okay. Which one is Murder, She Wrote?
Murder, She Wrote
is it Strike Commander? Or
it would probably be
Crusader No Remorse?
King's Quest.
King's Quest?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing I noticed when I went in there was that this game has been rebranded from it was BioWare. They took a studio and made it into like a division of BioWare. And now it's Victory Games. But they had a pretty slick trailer for it.
And why did they do that?
Because BioWare's stock is not exactly as great as it used to be.
Because?
Well, we were talking about this before. That was random speculation.
Speculation? Okay,
yeah.
well, speculate.
I think it's because the doctors left. I think it's because of the whole Mass Effect 3 debacle.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might have been for a different reason, but whatever.
Yeah. I should go up there. Are you behind the Mass Effect 3 ending? No? Do you know anyone here who is? Because I want to talk to them.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be on camera, but we're going to have a discussion. We're going to talk about that shit.
So they showed a brief trailer. They were playing the trailer on repeat in their booth, and it was basically like a bunch of different generals coming up. Because Command & Conquer Generals had that thing where you picked a general, and they gave you special powers for the specific side that you were playing on. So I went in, and the guy stood up and he gave this little introduction to the franchise and everything, and he said something that was really funny. So I don't know if you remember this, but in the original Command & Conquer Generals, there were 3 factions, right? There was like the American-European alliance, like the Anglo-Western dudes, right? And there was like the Red Army that was all like China essentially, and then there was the GLA, the Global Liberation Army, which was essentially Middle Eastern people.
I was really hoping you were going to say that was the Green Alliance Association.
What's that?
Or the Green Lantern Alliance.
Well, did you ever play Generals?
I don't believe I did. I think no, I didn't play it.
Apparently, like he directly acknowledged the fact that they got some shit for that because they were basically like, and here's our third faction, Arab terrorists, like the worker unit for the GLA. I think it was a GLA originally. The Global Liberation Army
The
originally.
worker unit is a 7-Eleven manager.
It's just this like dude.
That was terrible.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's this dude with like ripped up pants and no shirt and like a turban or something on.
Mm-hmm.
And when you click on them, they say like, "I want some shoes, please."
Oh, wow. Okay. Way to go, EA. Your insensitivity trumps mine.
Well, of course, that was also back in, when did Generals come out? Let's see. That was back in 2003. So let's say there was a lot less spotlight on games for this kind of stuff back then. So now they've changed the GLA. And they said, so we in the beginning of the GLA was
Tea Partiers.
Well, no, now
It's cool to hate them.
They seem like some kind of global, like hippie terrorist organization.
Oh, like environmentalists or something?
Sort of like
The most insidious evil.
and so he said, like, last time we pissed off a large group of people by making the GLA all Arab terrorists, and so we've made them much more global. So now we're pretty much just going to piss off everybody.
They're soccer moms.
Well, like there was one of the generals in that little lineup that they had. I mean, one of them was General Thrax from the GLA, which is the chemical warfare guy.
I wish it was General Brack.
Oh, that would be nice.
The Brack show.
But then like one of them was like this. He looked like this like French brown wavy hair, good looking dude that had like a heart with the. He looked like the sort of person you would see in a rally at a college or something like that. Anyway, so they gave us this stuff and then they let us into the game, and I ended up playing the wrong game because I ended up playing their new Horde mode.
Yeah.
We basically just have to survive against like legions that come at you over and over again, and I didn't realize that's what I was playing, so I kept sending all my units out from my base to try to find the enemy base and destroy it, like you're supposed to do in a real-time strategy game.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they left my base, the little timer would count down, and their horde waves would start coming into my base and just tear everything up. But hey, you know what? Plays a lot of Command and Conquer game. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
looks real nice. Units have a lot of personality. You can pick a general. This is going to be a free-to-play game that comes out that is not going to have a single-player thing. It's going to have play against the AI, play against other people. And then they made it sound like they're going to DLC story in a little bit at a time. I don't know. It seemed pretty cool, but that's because I'm a whore for Command and Conquer. So who can say? I'm glad that it's still coming out. I'm glad that because Command and Conquer's been trying to die for a long time.
It has.
Like Tiberium Wars didn't do it
Yeah.
any favors.
Well, RTS as a whole, you know.
StarCraft 2 is banging.
That's an anomaly, though.
Yeah. Well,
That's because, you know, Korea.
Dawn of War did all right, and we got Company Heroes 2 on our docket for this week. I don't know. I mean, there's some stuff that's out there, but yeah, I know what you're saying. There used to be a day when you could put out an RTS and it would sell like crazy.
Yeah.
Because everybody wanted it. Like when they put out Dune 3 or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Weird Westwood. But now, not as much. So let's see. I got one more and you got one more. Why don't you go with?
Okay. I don't have a lot to say
see.
about this aside from the environment that it was presented in. It was not playable by attendees, but it was DC's Infinite Crisis, which was just announced, I believe.
So it was just devs playing it, and then you get to watch them?
No, they had like pro gamer teams going head to head.
What?
And it was being commented on by these two just shit piles.
Like the ESPN 8 the Ocho guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're saying, oh, and Wonder Woman's over there, and she's throwing the lasso in every different direction. She really doesn't know what's going on. One of the many flashes you see on the screen seems to be running in circles. And they were just giving that commentary where it was just like, oh, my God. How do you look at yourself in the mirror?
What exactly is the game?
From what I could tell, it looks...
Is it a MOBA?
It looks exactly like Marvel Heroes. It looks exactly like that. I don't know how it's different, but that's what it looks like. It had two teams doing battle, and there were a bunch of Green Lanterns and Flashes and Wonder Womans and stuff like that.
Were there creeps
going head to head? Creeps?
Was it a MOBA? Were there creeps? Were there like AI controlled things marching from one base to the other?
Not that I noticed.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I didn't see that, but it really seemed like that it was just these two teams battling it out.
Okay.
It is a MOBA.
It is a MOBA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's interesting. We haven't, the MOBA games have kind of been like a blind spot of ours because, and I'll tell you guys, a lot of you guys, I mean, I got sent like 4 Dota 2 keys and then like 8 more people offered them to me. It's because it's scary, man. Like I keep hearing stories about
We're
how
afraid.
when you don't play it right, they're just like, hey, your mom is ugly and your dad is ugly and your face is ugly and you're like, oh, come on, just tell me what I'm doing wrong. They're like, no, and then they rage quit and then they send poop to your house and there's all kinds of terrible stuff. And like I don't think I have the time to learn how to play to a level where I could actually play a game like that.
I don't have the time or the patience to learn how to play.
Yeah.
But if people act like this, that kind of makes me want to play.
Yeah.
'Cause I'll just be trolling them and I won't even have to try. I'll just be terrible at it and they'll be like having an aneurysm.
Should we just do a feature where we do our commentary, but just hook the input up to the microphone and hold down the push to talk button the entire time?
Yes.
Why are you guys talking about Gene Hackman?
That would be so glorious. I think we really ought to start just trolling all the self-serious Dota 2 fuck bags.
Maybe we should fly to Evo in Las Vegas and then just like set up a tripod to one side of the thing and just do our own commentary and stream it on our own Twitch TV, but we don't know anything.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he just hit that guy real hard.
Yeah. Oh shit. It looks like he's going to be creeping towards the north there. That's a controversial choice. Most people are heading towards the south on this map. And that guy looks like some sort of giant sumo wrestler who is fighting the angel. I got to be honest with you, Jeff. I don't even know what the fuck's going on right now.
So DC Infinite Crisis, and so it's not playable at all on the show floor. It's just
No, they just had
mobile players.
these two competitive teams who, get a real job. Says the guy who, Anyway.
Yeah, you don't want to draw too much attention to that one.
Never mind. But yeah, they had those two announcers, and I think tomorrow I'm going to take some whiskey into the show floor, and I'm going to get really drunk, and I'm just going to heckle the announcers.
You just go up there and sit down beside them, like just take a folding chair and then just walk over there and just, hey, scoot over. Over. I want to know this.
Hey,
I want to know this.
I got this. You fucks don't know what you're doing.
Hey, you guys take a break. Take a break. I got this one.
Yeah, less talk, more dick jokes. Marston!
And then I guess the last thing is I was walking back to find Jason. I squeezed past the wargaming.net. Is it .net or is it .com?
I think it's .net, actually.
.net booth, who are the developers of World of Tanks. And apparently tanks weren't enough for those dudes.
Yeah.
So now they have World of Warplanes and World of Warships.
Yes.
And World of Warships looks like it's not. That's boats, by the way, not space aircraft or whatever. I'm sorry, I'm very, very tired. The World of Warships looks like it's just like a movie or something like that. But they did have the planes there, and so this guy showed me how to kit out my plane and play some World War II dogfighting, and I sucked.
Yeah, and these are way more heavy on the sim side. And here's the problem. I don't know how to fly a goddamn plane.
Here's the thing. I had some friends that were into IL-2 Sturmovik for a long time, which was like the best flight sim out there.
What you just said.
I know.
Go on.
Best flight sim that was out there. That kind of taught me how to fly some World War II planes because they really wanted me to play multiplayer with them.
Yeah.
And as soon as I understood what was involved with doing that, I was like, I'm not interested in what you're talking about.
It's a lot of effort, and it's very deliberate, and I was just like, I'd just rather play Star Fox.
Or TIE Fighter.
Or TIE Fighter, yes.
Freelancer.
But yeah, this is from the World of Tanks guys, and it's free to play.
Yeah.
And the developer kept trying to tell me, he was a nice, helpful guy, but he was telling me, but you won't get any, you're not going to see anybody who pays a lot of money, and then all of a sudden they've got like a huge edge over everyone else. And then he proceeds to tell me how paying money on their monetization fee will give you an edge over everyone else.
Huh. Was that when I was crashing into the ground?
That was, yes.
Right around that time? Okay.
Yeah, I was standing over Jeff's shoulder watching him just fuck it all up.
Yep.
And I was watching that, and the guy said, yeah, would you like to play? I said, yeah, sure. And then I was watching how things were going for Jeff, and Jeff stood up, and I'm like, yeah, let's get out of here. But it looks cool if you're into the, like World War II sim plane fighting games. This is going to be just ambrosia to you.
It seems like they're trying to strike a good balance between realism and fun. Like you play it from a third-person perspective. They did have the lead indicators on the plane, so you could shoot where it was going to hit. You didn't have to learn how to lead without an indicator.
And the physics are apparently just ridiculously accurate and realistic.
Yeah, but the other thing is that they seem to be going to great efforts, unlike IL-2 Sturmovik, to put you into the action very quickly. Like a lot of times when I was playing IL-2 Sturmovik, you'd be playing a mission where you would have to actually fly your plane for like 5 or 10 minutes before you got to shoot at anybody. Whereas here, there's a lot more on-screen display. There's a map that shows you where people are. It'll be interesting to see if they have a full real mode or something, but they definitely have a skill tree, whereas you level up, you can unlock more planes, and you can unlock different planes. There was German planes, there were Allied planes, and then I think I saw some Russian planes in there, but I'm not entirely sure. It was late in the day, so and that was the last thing that was it. That was it. So tomorrow we have so much to look at.
We got a lot to do tomorrow.
I got appointments all day. Jason's gonna just go. You did your time standing in line, so tomorrow you do whatever the fuck you want to.
I'm not doing that crap again, man.
Yeah, I understand. It's no fun. No fun.
No, it sucks, especially when I had Chatty McFarts-a-lot behind me.
Oh, Chatty McFarts-a-lot. I hope you listen to our show, bro. I hope you do.
I do too. You're gross, and you should kill yourself.
Oh, how about just what if you just take Axe body spray with you tomorrow and spray at the eyes of anybody who smells bad? Just
if I'm going to spray something in somebody's eyes, it's not going to be Axe body spray.
What's it going to be?
It's going to be hydrochloric acid.
Oh, okay. I didn't think they let you bring that through airport security.
Probably. Well, I'm able to. I'm going to whip something up in the kitchen tonight.
I know a guy in LA.
I got a guy.
All right, folks. We'll check back tomorrow where we're going to have. Oh my God, we're going to have so many more games to talk about. And you know what? I'm going to put this out here right now. We've got a big list of games for day 3 that we're kind of trying to decide between. So if you've got a particular game that you want to know about, throw it in the comments to this, and we'll see what gets the most suggestions. I mean, we're going to try to hit everything, but even with our awesome predictive skills, there's some limits as to how many things we can hit.
Yeah.
I'm going to say right now, we're not going to waste time trying to cover Battlefield 4 because they want you to wait in line like half the day to see it.
Yeah.
And it's just Battlefield, man. Like, we're not going to be able to tell you anything else about it.
Yeah. Like we said earlier, they're bringing Commander mode back, but it's still, it's Battlefield.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Battlefield fan, but we're probably not going to spend a lot of time on that.
There's a non-interactive demo that we might see if there's not a big line for. Also, just before you guys ask and before you get bent out of shape, let's head this shit off right now. We're probably not going to be able to tell you anything about Destiny because Activision has that door barred and locked, and like you got to be the king of fucking Spain to get into that room.
Yeah,
or something. I don't
know. We should have made appointments in advance, but we didn't get a chance to, and so they were all booked up. We're still going to try to get into it, but it's unlikely that we're going to make it.
What celebrity can we dress as?
You should go.
I can do an Alton Brown. Kesha?
Yeah.
All right. I could do that. Then why don't you go CeeLo Green?
CeeLo Green?
Yeah.
Got it.
And we'll just walk up. The worst cosplay ever. It's going to be really offensive.
Nobody will catch my blackface.
No, not at all. That's not going to be.
I'll just say, fuck you.
That's right.
See? See? I'm totally
CeeLo, what did you get here? What did you do with Jason?
Yeah.